Welcome to the ITFreeTraining video on transitioning to IPv6 only. In the real world, this day for most users is a long way away, but this video will let you know what you'll need when this day arrives. It is difficult to say currently how many computers and devices on the internet are using IPv6. However, if you look at the current statistics provided by Google, at the time this video was created, only 11% of Google users were using IPv6. This would suggest that full IPv6 adoption is still a long way away. Until IPv6 is fully deployed, which is doubtful will happen anytime soon, there are some recommendations on how it should be used. First, do not disable IPv6 on Windows. Even if you have not started deploying the protocol, the IPv6 protocol with default configuration will not affect your existing network. Some applications may be IPv6 ready and can still use some of its functions on the local network without additional configuration. Next, whenever possible, implement both IPv4 and IPv6. The operating system will choose which protocol to use. This is a better option than using transition protocols. Transition protocols were designed to allow users to access IPv6 networks until native IPv6 support became available. They were not designed to be used long-term. So if IPv6 is available, start using it and use IP4 as a backup when IPv6 has not been implemented completely to your destination. Remember that IP6 is designed very differently than IP4. If you start deploying it, consider different ways to deploy it that you may not have used in IP4. For example, using a hierarchy of networks. You don't have to copy the design of your existing IP4 network. If you do decide you want to have an IP6 only network, remember that for this to work, all routers on your network must support and be configured for IP6 support. DNS servers must have IP6 records created on them, otherwise your computers will not be able to locate resources on the network. All applications on your network must support IP6. This is a big one. Some applications may say they support IP6, however, IP6 may not work with all features of the application. For example, Microsoft is always adding additional support for IP6 to group policy. Depending on which group policy settings you use, they may or may not support IP6. Next, all hosts on your network must support and be configured for IP6. To have an IP6 only network, this is a lot of work, and there is always a risk something may not work correctly. From an end user's point of view, regardless of which protocol they use, they will still access the network the same way. For these reasons, when possible, I would recommend running both protocols. Windows will default to IP6 and use IP4 when IP6 is not available. This gives you the best of both worlds. It has taken 21 years for IP6 to reach 11% according to Google. Most companies would be unlikely to consider switching off their IP4 network until this percentage gets to or is close to 100. So for the present, I would personally run both protocols when possible. This is the last video in the IP6 course from ITFreeTraining. Remember, we have many different courses available for free on our website and YouTube channel. I hope to see you in those videos. Until then, I would like to thank you for watching.